Hey guys, today we're going to be checking out the Peter McKinnon and Nomatic 25-liter camera pack. We looked at the larger version of this backpack a while back on the channel, the 35-liter, which was a little bit more meant to be kind of a travel backpack as well as a hardcore kind of professional photography bag. Lots of space and organization, and I really enjoyed testing that out. However, the bag was definitely too big, in my opinion, for EDC use. So I was very excited when they released this smaller 25-liter size. I've been testing it out over the past couple of weeks, and in this video I'm going to be talking about my experience using it. I'll show you how I've loaded it out, walk through all the features, and I'll also talk about how it compares to some of the other similar items that are currently on the market. Before jumping into the video, if you're new here, welcome. My name is Danny, and on this channel we love reviewing popular travel and everyday carry gear. If you like these types of videos and you'd be interested in seeing more, please consider subscribing as it helps the channel out a lot. So with all that being said, let's go ahead and jump in. Starting off with the outside of the bag, the aesthetic here, like many of Nomatic's other products, is very kind of futuristic, sleek, and techie looking. It's also infused with Peter McKinnon's sort of signature branding. So you have the actual signature on the logo on the front, and then you have a lot of the branding elements on the zipper pulls and on the back, as we'll take a look at in a little bit, with his pirate sort of logo. And the aesthetic for me works. I really like Nomatic's bags and Peter McKinnon. I'm a big fan in general, so those sort of elements are something that I like about the bag. However, I can definitely see how they might not be for everybody. With this type of an aesthetic, the bag is, still gonna work across a variety of environments, whether you're going into the outdoors for a shoot, if you're exploring a city, or if you're traveling. As far as the materials, the bag feels very solidly built. Nomatic typically uses this sort of tarpaulin-like material on the exterior that offers a ton of weather resistance, and it just feels like it's gonna hold up well to rougher use. In my experience, this does tend to maybe show some scratches a little bit more than other fabrics, but it's pretty easy to clean. Cody Warner did a really interesting video where he beat this bag up quite a bit, and it seemed to hold up very well. So far with my less rugged experience, it's done quite well, and in general my Nomatic bags have held up nicely as I've had them for a couple of years. And then you also have some well protected water guarded zippers all throughout. I don't believe these are YKK. I haven't been able to find any of their branding or notes across the site. I know Nomatic has used non-YKK zippers in some of their bags in the past. Regardless, they've worked very smoothly, and it does feel like they're going to keep water outside of all of your essentials. Continuing along the outside of the bag, you have two external water bottle pockets, one on each side of the bag. The implementation here is pretty interesting. You have a ton of space with these water bottle pockets. They have plenty of elasticity, very great for holding larger water bottles. So this is a 26-ounce Yeti Rambler, and it is able to fit in there easily. It's also going to work well for holding something like a tripod, so a lot of flexibility here. The flap system that they've used for the water bottle pockets is something that I'm a little torn on. I think it does a good job of keeping the water bottles hidden and kind of the bag looking sleek when they're not in use. However, when these flaps are deployed, it can really take on a very jetpack-like appearance. I mean, they look like wings on the side of the bag and like you're gonna be taking flight. So it's, mainly an aesthetic sort of nag that I have that I'm not a big fan of. In general, though, the water bottle pockets themselves have worked very well. And then they have the magnetic flaps that do keep the pockets secure. And above that, you have some sort of Hypalon loops here that you can pair with straps that are not included with the bag, which I was a little bit sad to see considering the price, but you can purchase those to maybe secure a tripod here or something a little bit taller. And then you have these Hypalon loops along the front that you can pair with a variety of accessory straps. My preference is actually to use these straps from Wandered, which are some of my favorite that I've had for a while now. They clip onto the front, and then you can secure larger items such as a jacket, yoga mat, or even a skateboard if there's something that doesn't fit inside of the bag. It's nice to have that extra bit of flexibility. At the top of the bag, you have a very well padded handle. It has a really soft sort of cushioning, so it's going to be very comfortable to hold the bag, pick it up off the ground, even when it's a little bit heavier. And then one additional thing that I want to mention while we're talking about the outside and the fabrics is that the bag stands up very well on its own. The fabrics that are used here and just the general shape of the bag is a little bit more rigid. So even when the bag is empty, it will maintain the same shape, which helps it stand up very well on its own. It also makes it feel like there's a little bit more padding and protection for all the items that might be inside. So this is a little bit more common with camera bags. So nice to see that sort of translate here. And again, how well the bag stands up on its own when you're placing it down next to you. Moving into the capacity, the bag comes in at about 25 liters, which is a really versatile size in my opinion. It might be slightly larger for an EDC than what some people like to use, but for me, I think it's a really flexible size that still allows me to hold everything that I want to carry with me and still have some leftover space. As far as the silhouette of the bag, as I was saying, it is a pretty rigid sort of shape, so even when the bag is empty, it's still gonna look the same, and it's not gonna stretch out any further than this when you pack it out. And I think it's a pretty nice size. You know, it doesn't get super bulky. It's still managed to maintain a pretty slim silhouette, so good for exploring a city, for jumping onto public transit. Taking a look at the straps and the back paneling, so far the bag has been really comfortable to wear. I like how the straps have been implemented here. There's this thick padding that's really comfortable. On the inside you have a breathable sort of mesh fabric to help prevent moisture from building up. And then these straps also have a nice width to help prevent the bag from digging into your shoulders when it's a little bit more packed out. And you also have an adjustable and removable sternum strap to help distribute the weight. Moving into the back paneling, this has also felt pretty comfortable. You have a different sort of padding here. This one's more rigid foam, but it still has felt great and offers a nice amount of support, well distributed all throughout. You don't have the same breathable mesh that we saw on the straps. However, you do have some deep air channels here that provide you with a nice amount of ventilation and airflow while walking around throughout the day. While we're on the back, I'll also call out the Pete's Pirate Life logo here, which I am a big fan of. I just really think it looks cool. And then you also have a nice luggage pouch that's going to allow you to rest this on a suitcase while traveling to save some weight on your back. Jumping in the organizational options, the bag is pretty minimal on pocketing all throughout. It does have a fairly flexible layout on the inside that we'll take a look at, but there's not a ton of external access pockets as we might see on other EDC and camera bags, so that was an interesting choice. Starting off, with the laptop compartment, which is a separate area from the main compartment, which I really like. You have a side access zipper, which is really tall, so it's going to be great for larger laptops. You also have the zipper garage at the top, so it really feels like your device is well protected from the elements. And so plenty of space, definitely could fit a 15 or 16 inch laptop here. With the 13-inch MacBook Air that I have, you can see there's some leftover space here at the top. Nice amount of padding, and you also have this soft kind of lining on the inside. The compartment does seem to be a little bit pulled up off the bottom of the ground as well. It's well padded, so even when you place your bag down a little bit harder, your device won't be making contact with the ground. So pulling my laptop out, now with the compartment empty, you can get a better look at the inside. So again, nice soft lining here. It feels like your device is going to be protected from scratches, and then it does come up a decent amount. So if you happen to have a thicker device, you should be able to fit it in there pretty comfortably. So in general, with the amount of padding that's offered here, it feels like my device is going to be well protected while running around throughout the day. Beyond that, the rest of the organization that the bag has is really all kind of contained in the main area in various ways. The larger version of the Peter McKinnon Nomatic Camera Backpack has an external zippered pocket on the front, which I think would have been a really nice addition just to give you a little bit more accessibility. They do have the main compartment divided in some pretty interesting ways. So you have this top opening here. So when you place the bag down, you can easily reach down, and then you have this adjustable top section. I currently have it sort of collapsed to the smallest volume that it has. I'll show you a little bit more about the adjustability when I open up the bag clamshell style, but I like that it has this top flap area that kind of works as a quick access compartment, which gives you a ton of flexibility. You really have a lot of space here. Even for some larger items, you can see that some of the items that would typically kind of be held in a smaller quick access are just floating around here, but that works well. These are still the items that I would grab most regularly. This is also a good spot to maybe rest a camera that you want to access a little bit more quickly. For me, I have my sunglasses here. I have the Tombin Ghost Wheel pouch that has some smaller items. I have my GoPro camera, and then I also have a headlamp, which I like to toss into my bags from time to time. So yeah, just a big open space here. And then on the sides, you have some elastic mesh pockets, which are good for holding some smaller items. So this is actually the perfect size for my Apple AirPods. And then on the other side, I was able to squeeze in my Apple Magic Mouse, which is a little bit flatter and something that I grab a lot when I'm working remotely. And then on the flap, the lid here, you have an additional zippered pocket. These zipper pulls are interesting. They tend to stick out a little bit, but they have kind of a nice Hypalon material. And so this also offers a decent amount of space for tech and EDC accessories. Currently what I have here is a portable battery that attaches to the back of my phone when I'm running low on battery. I have the Peak design tripod that I can attach to the back of my phone, another item I've been using a little bit more recently, and then I also have a lightning cable and power brick to charge my phone. And then in addition to being able to open from the top, you can actually open up the back fully clamshell. It has a zipper that goes all the way down. And so, as I mentioned with my review on the Peak Design 30-liter travel backpack, this is not always my favorite style of clamshell where you have the majority of the volume on the front, so you're resting the bag on its face. I did get some comments from viewers that said that this is pretty common in camera backpacks specifically, as you don't want your straps getting dirty when you place the bag on the ground. Peter McKinnon has also mentioned the fact that he understands that the bag can get dirty. You can wipe it off, so that was the reasoning for some of the materials here. I can see how that would make sense as somebody who doesn't carry a ton of camera gear, and maybe I'm not the selected audience for that specific use case. I still prefer when the clamshell is the other way around, similar to something like the Air City Pack Pro. Regardless, I think it works better here, at least because you do have a little bit of additional organization that's easy to access. In the Peak Design backpack, the zippered mesh compartments were underneath all of the stuff that you might have loaded out into the bag, so it was really hard to take advantage. But in this case, you do at least have some internal organization here. You have two mesh zippered compartments, very easy to see what's on the inside of these, and I like that they have some volume, which makes them a little more useful for bulkier accessories. Currently what I have in this one here at the top is a deck of playing cards. Then I have a little manicure set that I typically have with me, and then I have a field notes notebook, and then on the bottom I have a little tin with some band-aids and ointments, Pete's Pirate Life branding there. And I didn't place too much else into this compartment because it kind of shared space with this stuff that I have here packed down at the bottom, so just trying to avoid everything sort of feeling too tight. Moving into the main section of the bag, there's definitely some interesting ideas here. I recognize I probably used this differently than was intended by the designers. This volume is meant to pair with the cube dividers that are sold by Nomatic as well. So they have these sort of modular components that you can use with camera gear or different setups. You can have one for your drone, one for some lenses and a body, and they're meant to kind of fit in here perfectly so that when you place your bag down, you can grab the accessories that you need or leave what you need at home. I didn't buy any of those accessories, and as I've mentioned multiple times in the past, I don't have a ton of kind of robust camera gear, so I'm really just looking at this as like a tech and EDC backpack that could potentially hold some camera gear. And you know, that's kind of how I'll be talking about it, as that was my primary usage. And so the first thing I'll call out here is at the top, you have this sort of magnetic divider. You can see that it snaps shut. This provides access to this top area. If you just open the bag fully and you have some items in here that you want to grab, you can just pull this open, reach in and grab it. I think that works really well. I like the idea here, particularly with the magnets, as it prevents the items from falling out, but it's less cumbersome than dealing with a zipper. And then below that, I just have a big sort of open space that worked well for my modular style of packing and the items that I typically carry with me. So jumping in, I have a shadow pocket from GoRuck, which has some bulkier items that I typically have. I have a packable rain jacket. I tossed in my Beats Studio wireless headphones with their hard shell case. I have my DJI Mavic Mini with its case as well. And then I also have the Evergoods Civic Access pouch, which is one of my favorites for working remotely. And now with the compartment empty, you can see just a lot of space here and flexibility for the items that you might want to store. And then one of the really cool ideas with this sort of divider that's included here, you have an adjustable volume. So as I mentioned, when I was at the top here, I have it collapsed so that, you know, this just doesn't take up a ton of space, but you can actually pull this here. It has this little loop that allows you to pull this and actually give more space to the top section. So if you want to store some taller or, you know, bigger items in there and you only want to use this for, you know, kind of minimal storage, you can adjust that volume. So it's really cool that you have that flexibility, and you can actually fully remove this divider. It has some snap closures here and Velcro. So you can take this out and just use the full volume as a normal EDC travel or camera backpack, however you want. For me personally, I don't know if I'd be able to get that back in, so I just chose to leave it as it came from the manufacturer because I really like the adjustability that's offered here. Most of the time, I leave this collapsed so that I can use the top space and then have just this sort of as my area that I don't access quite as regularly, but you know, when I get to my destination, I can place my bag down. With 25 liters of space And the sort of open nature of this compartment, this could also work well as a minimal travel bag. You could toss in a packing cube, dop kit, an extra pair of shoes, and use this for a weekend trip. So overall, some really interesting ideas here, and I really like the flexibility of the layout and a lot of the features that have been included with this bag. It's not gonna be a bag that's for everybody, particularly if you're looking for more of a regular sort of tech and EDC backpack. But if you want something that's gonna be flexible and check off a lot of the boxes for what you might be looking for out of a really useful backpack that's gonna offer plenty of weather resistance and that you can configure with some interesting camera setups, and this is gonna be a great option to consider. And so to wrap up, it's been a great experience testing out the Peter McKinnon and Nomatic 25-liter pack over the past couple of weeks. You can currently purchase this on the company site or on Amazon for about $300, which is definitely premium pricing for a bag. It's very well built and it has some really cool and interesting features that'll be useful for a lot of people. However, there's gonna be a lot of other great bags in this price range or for a little bit less that are gonna be worth considering. And so as I was testing this out, the first bag this made me think of is the Nomatic Travel Pack, which has been one of my favorite hybrid backpacks of the past couple of years. It was updated to include better materials than the one that I featured on this channel, so it has YKK zippers, pretty similar aesthetic to this bag here. Nomatic has a pretty distinct design language, so very water resistant materials, comfortable to wear, great features and pocketing all throughout. One of my favorite things about the bag is the fact that it expands out to work as a minimal travel bag, so it goes to 30 liters. It can hold quite a bit, and if you're looking for, this type of a durable bag that's going to be a little bit more flexible and you don't need all of the camera centric features that this bag might have, then that's going to be a great option to consider. The next bag this made me think of is the Wandered Provoke, which has been one of the most kind of durable and versatile camera bags that I've used over the past couple of years. That one has been updated recently to include a different back panel, some additional features. The organization has been changed, but it still maintains the weather resistance and versatility that the bag is known for. It has a roll top opening so it can expand up to give you some additional capacity or compress down depending on what you need. It opens up fully flat so you can access all of your gear. I really like how the camera cube is integrated into the bag, and it's just a solid kind of EDC bag all on its own. It has good laptop protection, comfortable to wear, and so if you're looking for a very rugged and versatile camera pack that's got this sort of an aesthetic but that's gonna give you a little bit more flexibility, then that's gonna be one of the best options that you can check out. Another bag this made me think of is the Boundary Supply Errant Pack, which is another kind of hybrid EDC and camera pack. Very ruggedly built, comfortable to wear. I've really enjoyed using that over the past couple of years. It has a nice pocket layout so you can access all of your stuff. It really well padded and suspended laptop sleeves, separate shoe compartment, and a really nice ecosystem of accessories so you can customize the bag to fit your needs. If you want to carry camera gear, if you have drones, GoPro stuff, you can really kind of set it up the way that's going to work best for you. It also has kind of a similar layout where you can open it up clamshell style. You can access it from the top. So really solid bag. I don't use it as much for camera stuff, but as an EDC backpack that's going to give you that capability, it's going to be a fantastic alternative to something like this. And then the last option that I'll mention here is the Moment Travel Wear Camera Backpack, which I was really impressed by when it came out. I really like that it's a very subdued looking bag. It could just be a regular EDC backpack, got good laptop protection, a luggage pass-through, a nice organizational layout, but Moment has put together some accessories that are meant to turn that into a camera bag as well. So it has a cube that can be integrated into the bag. You can access your lens and your camera while you're wearing it, and then if you just want to use it as a normal backpack, you can take that out, and it has a really nice aesthetic and organizational layout. It's well built, and it's also going to come in at a lower price point than this. So if you're looking for a versatile bag that can be used as a camera backpack and that's going to have a more minimal aesthetic, then that's going to be a great option to consider. With that being said, the Peter McKinnon and Nomatic 25-liter camera pack holds up really well against those options, and if you're looking for a durable camera and EDC backpack that's going to offer a customizable layout to meet your needs, or you're a fan of Peter McKinnon and Nomatic in general and you have a little bit of a higher budget, then this is going to be a solid option to check out. And I'm definitely curious to hear what you all think of this collaboration between Peter McKinnon and Nomatic and how it compares to some of the other similar bags that we featured on the channel in the past. And if there are any similar options that you think I should check out, as always, please let me know in the comments. And I want to thank you for watching and supporting the channel. If you enjoyed this video, please give us a like, and if you haven't already, make sure to subscribe so you don't miss any upcoming videos, and we'll see you in the next one.